Ah, sorry, we had the wrong things muted. Welcome back to Hair Hero Elite's Hair Talk. And this week, we're going to be a continuation of last week, apparent dry scalp. And it's an issue that is pretty common in this day and age. We're going to talk about some of that from my research. We're going to do probably a couple of quotes or something from my book to let you know a little bit more about this topic, because one of the issues was just what I saw in the industry with my own clients, with other people. And it caused me to go to research to try to help people. And then I ended up writing my book. But just letting you guys know, and ladies, that my name is Valion, and I am your hair hero. I'm the chief educator for Straight Request Products and Hair Hero Elite's chief educator, my own company. And we are very proud of Hair Hero Elite to just have an opportunity to help people. This whole trend is really to benefit you, the consumer, first. And it's also made to educate our professional hairstylists, and we'll offer classes for each of you, dealing with the different topics and the things that we're sharing here on our hair talk. So if you're not informed or you just ran across this unexpectedly, please share with your friends, because this is made for you to benefit from all the different things from my studies, for you to ask questions. The more questions that you ask me, just like my pastor tells me, the better I'll share or teach. You'll hear me say share more than once, because I don't like to say teach as much, but it's a teaching and a learning environment where you get knowledge. And those that get it, get it. It's just an amazing journey that I've had as a hairstylist, learning from the best, taking classes, going to hair shows, sharing all the information that I've gathered in my 32 plus years. I think it's about 34 years now. Oh my goodness. That's how young I am. I just forget about how old they try to make me. So this is an exciting time. We're going to be doing this every Sunday. Some will be pre-recorded, but catch our lives as much as possible. If you miss it, go comment. We will comment back to that stream, and it's to get as many people aboard this educational platform. And we're going to talk about some things in and out of the salon to help you get a better idea of what's going on with whatever situation you're dealing with. Even talking about shampooing, lace fronts. We're going to create different episodes just so you can go to that stream and deal with it and talk about it, get some education, share with your stylist. If your stylist is not on here, they need to be, because we're going to share some hot topics. We're going to share some educational problem solving topics that could be very life changing. You know, if you haven't caught the video about Hair Hero Elite, please go to it so you'll understand why I started this, why I wrote my book, why I became the educator in the first place, and for this platform. I just want to help people because I've helped people in my own family. That's hair family, my God family, being a Christian, and people that don't care nothing about God. I'm just here to help you. My whole premise is serving, helping, learning, and growing. Because I grow just from the information that you give me. You, the consumer. I ask my clients, give me a report back. Come in, talk to me. You know, don't just watch infomercials or watch YouTube University only. I'm going to tell you, just like I say in my book, sometimes you just need to go pro. You need to get with a professional. If you can't get your hair done, you should at least pay for consultations and buy the products from your professional. Find someone that fits your character or knowledgeable about your situation. Ask questions. And if a person gets defensive from you answering questions, that's probably not the person for you because the characters can clash or the person might just need to you might need to find someone that's a better fit for you. This is not that you can get all your answers here, but I'm pretty sure I can handle most of them. And I make mistakes, and here's a chance for you to learn from my mistakes. So you don't have to go out there and have what had happened was I thought I could do this, and then my hair fell out. You can avoid as many situations as your knowledge allows you. And here is where you get knowledge. Hair Hero Elite on the YouTube channel, 4 o'clock Sunday. Catch the live or catch the replay. But whatever you do, find 1 week every week to hear what I got to say. So last week, we talked about dry scalp, apparent dry scalp. And it's important to build the relationship between you and your own hair, let alone someone else's. Because when you have a relationship between your hair strand and your scalp skin, you respect it more. There's certain things that you're more cautious about doing because you don't want to interfere or interrupt or cause this relationship to break up. Because you're going to have this for the life of your life, period. And if some of it leaves, you still got the rest of it. So we're going to help you keep as much of your hair-scalp relationship intact because we don't need your scalp being sick. This is where you come and get healed. This is the place where we look at the positive. So we want to help everyone we can. And if you see something on here, please share it with a friend and let them come on board. If you know someone that has any of the issues or can relate to the topic, we're reaching out for you. We depend on you because now Hair Hero Elite has gone nationwide because of you, the consumer. Whether you be a hairstylist or just a consumer getting their hair done and buying the products, every week we're sending out orders right now. So we thank you So come get this knowledge about Hair Hero Elite, home health care, hair talk, you know. And we're gonna show you different tricks. Well, we're gonna share different things that you might not have known about your home health care. And sometimes you're gonna have to sacrifice. Because if your issue is alopecia, there are going to be certain steps that you need to take so that you can get it back, or at least attempt to get some of it back, or give a good try. You can't cover your scalp 3 and 4 months and don't give it attention. Just like you don't like going without eating 3 days. Unless you're in a coma on IV, then you can probably do it. But, hey, at least you're getting your nutrients. So, we want to jump back in a little bit. So we talked about the scalp skin, the hair and scalp relationship a little bit. So what we're going to do is talk about, back up and go back to the epidermis. If you have a sensitive scalp, you have a damaged scalp, your gland is broken, your eczema or something in your skin or integument system is off. That's all it means. A broken gland or something that's broken means it no longer functions or operates the way it was designed to work. So that's all that means. It's broken. If it's broken, most likely it can't be fixed. And here we're going to dig up as much knowledge to help you fix your sick scalp. And with the epidermis, with a sensitive scalp, that means it doesn't have the resistant, well, it can't resist like it should. If your scalp is dry, then your epidermis or your scalp skin is broken. And so we're going to approach this like in a reverse way in some things. I have to give this approach to Dr. Joel Wallach, changed my life. He wrote the book and the teaching, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. It's an amazing teaching. Go in, pull it up online, get his book. I wish you could have heard him talk before the federal government banned him. And then he came back to help the other people. He beat his case. Right. But before, he was more aggressive. He was a beast. And he taught you cures. But now, I don't know if he can tell all the cures now. You have to go to his class or something, and he'll just verbalize it differently. But an amazing doctor. Changed how I looked at things. So, with your epidermis, if your epidermis is dry, remember, it's not working like it was designed. That means something on the inside or within the skin is not doing what it's supposed to do. Because your epidermis is supposed to have 20% of its weight to be water, internal water in the skin. It's supposed to keep hydration. So if you're flaking in the area, then something's amiss. So we have to figure out what is the body not producing anymore, or what is causing it to overproduce in one area because another area is no longer producing or operating at its standard level or speed. So what another part of your body does, it overcompensates. And sometimes those are the symptoms that we're looking at. So look at doing that. And also know that God made our body wonderful. And he built it, it's built to fix itself. It should fix itself repair itself, and get back to natural. One of the things, it's if you're feeding it the proper things, a lot of times it will heal itself. You just create the environment internally so that it can do it. Now, we have hair loss stories, but I tell people that I created our product, Aqua Scalp. Let me see here. Aqua Scalp, so that others can get their hair back, resolve their issues to where they can feel beautiful all over again. If you've ever seen someone light come on when it was dimmed, it's a life-changing experience. You walk different. You have more confidence. And you'll be happier in the skin that you're in. All right? So, if the scalp skin, especially on the scalp, is dry in certain areas, we have to figure out why it's dry. The number one thing people, doctors, they ask, are you drinking enough water? Let's address that. That's an important factor because most of our body is made up of water. And if it's dry or dehydrated, that's one of the first questions we need to really check and say, hey, have I been drinking my water? And then if the answer is yes, the next thing you need to think about, am I eating for hydration? Yes. You probably never heard that. I came up with that term when I wrote my book because I noticed you've heard it in a different way, but we also have to eat for hydration. When we balance our body out or our gut flora, our body runs correctly. No organ, no gland stands alone. There's a reason for everything that God put in your body. So if you're taking out your small intestines, it's part of your elimination system. It's to get rid of toxins. Some things you get rid of, you won't live. And other things, you might be able to get past it, but life will not be the same. So that's one of the things we wanted to definitely check out is, are we drinking enough and are we eating for hydration? Those are the two right off the top that I'm going to ask. Next is, are you supplementing? That comes a little bit with the eating because you need to eat certain foods that are high in K2, berries for those free radicals, and things like that, because that helps the body to run as good as it can. And if you're not eating a well-balanced diet, yes, you've heard it before, eat all your fruits and vegetables, if you can, unless you have a very special situation that doesn't cause it. And I'm going right back to the question that Dr. Joe Wallace said is, what is not working? Not just what's working or overproducing, it's what is working. There's a part in his book or in his teaching where he says most people think kidney stones come from the overproduction. That's not quite correct according to Dr. Wallace's teaching. It's because it's not producing in another part of the body, or the body is overreacting to the lack of production of calcium. So thus you get stones. And he said he noticed this from cows. I think it's called water belly. That cows actually die from it. He said, we'll feel like we're going to die, but we're not going to die. We're just going to hurt like hell until you get that stone removed. But he learned by giving them constant calcium every day in their diet, they will never form it. Farmers tend to know great dietary supplements or diets that to adhere to, because they're not going to pay surgery for kidney stone, not on a cow. It'll be eaten or sold to the marketplace so I can eat it. So we're looking at the epidermis. So these are tall tale signs to let you know something is amiss. So now we start looking at what we need to do to resolve it. I'm just changing your mind of how you think about the issues that you may be dealing with eczema, psoriasis, dry scalp, dandruff. What is missing or what is the root? So that's what we look at to counteract it, to give the body what is missing or to neutralize it the best way we can. All right? So with that, and definitely GMO is one of the multiple products you might need to kind of veer away from. Now, we look at the dermis, and we talked about what was in the dermis. We talked about blood vessel, nerve endings, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, hair follicles, hair root, the dermal papilla. Look, these are all in the dermis. So we look at our skin as just being one layer. Or let's just say it's one organ, the biggest organ of our body, right? In the second tier or level, all those things are in it. And then and it's needed. But sometimes if we have inflammation in the body, it comes out through the skin. All right? The body is so intelligent, it tries to push certain things out, or it swells or get inflamed to fix what is the issue. Okay? That's one of the things that we're going to be doing about it. So you know these different things are in the dermis. And so this can cause hair loss. Because if you're dealing with the body is more concerned about living than having hair, you're going to lose hair. Or you can lose hair. All right? In inflammation, the body is trying to protect itself, trying to survive. So thus sometimes we lose hair because of the inflammation or the swelling or folliculitis. Just different things that are still inflammation related. Okay? So with that being said, it's to help you know what's in there. So later on, I might say some things, you at least know what I'm relating it back to. And that's the skin. Now, there's some things that we need to avoid and pay attention to. And we know one of the number one things is inflammation is a culprit. Medications are a culprit. Medications, one of the things you need to look at if your doctor or physician gives you something, if it says anything of the hair, nail, or skin, dries the skin, causes nail breakage, weakens nails, cause hair loss. All of these, or weakens the hair. Anything that affects any of those can cause hair loss. Now, if you have hair that's been bleached way up, that have a high level bleach or a high level color, relaxer, a thioglycolate curl, it's already, the strength has been reduced. So now they're more susceptible for things to happen, like hair loss. And that's what we want to stay away from, are the things that we might can switch if we can. But if it's a medication, you can always ask the doctor, hey, do you have something else? Because I'm losing my hair and I know it's on my medication that it says this or that and affects the skin. We know that thyroid medicines can cause hair loss. There's some people you walk around and they have extensions and they get them real long so they can just coil it up on their hair so they can feel a little bit better or human, or cover up their epidemic or hair loss. And hair loss is at epidemic proportions right now. So don't mistake it. Men and women. Just more men report it because we can't cover it up as well as women. There are a lot of women, so when you Google it, you look at the numbers, the men are higher than the women, but that's because a lot of women can cover it up by wearing hats and extensions, or they just pull their hair up to cover it. And so a lot of cases are not even been reported. So we just have to try to address some of these things that could possibly get you your life back. You know, don't be so quick to go med. In other words, medications. Look at your medicines. See if the instructions of the side effects says anything of the hair, nail, and skin. If it does, see if there's an alternative medicine that you can use that won't affect these areas, you know? Also, you have shampoos that are not great for you. If you use, in the last episode, we talked about shampoos. Improper shampoos for your hair and scalp type. Sometimes you can shampoo your hair over and over again and it's still flaking. Why? It's because the detergent, the SLS or the sulfate-free shampoo, doesn't matter. If it's too drying to your scalp is just flaking off because the shampoo can dry it out. I know it sounds crazy. You got water on your head and your shampoo, but when it dries, it's flaking off. That's not always dandruff. That's probably a dehydrated scalp. So dandruff medicine wouldn't help that case. We need to use another shampoo that's not as aggressive on the cleaning or drying your epidermis cells out, your skin cells out, and keeping enough hydration for you. Okay? That might be your ticket. You also have imbalances of the body. And that's where we get into inflammation, different inflammation that you may deal with. Psoriasis and eczema is probably the two biggest on the list, but they're still dealing with inflammation, a form of. And you have to figure out, like, what are the whys? You know, in my body, this is happening. How can I counteract it? One of the first ways that I would tell people to do is, if you have time, cleanse. Go cleanse your body. If you can't, flush your body out, because you could be toxic. One of someone I know had extreme acne on the face, dark spots. They were on their third dermatologist. Let me say this, but don't get offended, because I fall in this category too. Dermatologist may be the skin doctor, but some things are deeper than the skin and that are outside of his realm of study. So you're gonna need to create a list, a circle of doctors or a circle of professionals that you talk with, because this is going to help you solve or have a better result. In the Bible, it says, counsel with many, their safety. So by talking to everyone, get a second opinion, not just from a dermatologist, but another person in the circle of doctors or professionals that you should talk to. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. So now we're dealing with inflammation in the body. It's either in the skin or in the body. So with this, we're trying to resolve it. Thus, this is one of the reasons why I made Aqua Scalp, to deal with the inflammation. Because if I remember correctly, I'm just trying to remember some of the statistics. One of the number one reasons people lost hair is inflammation, directly or indirectly. That's your body fighting against something or a reaction, but it still can cause major hair loss. You have all of these different alopecias out, which alopecia's okay. It just means baldness. But what type? If it's scar tissue, no, you most likely can't get that back. Michael Jackson had scar tissue, and a doctor came out before he died and says, oh, we can grow Michael Jackson's hair back. He had some scar tissue, and he had second and third degree burns. Now, what did we say was in the dermis? Blood vessels, dermal papilla. If that has been burned away, there is no more hair loss. If you look at a burn victim that has second and third degree burns, that is scar tissue or it's just smooth and bald because they had a great cosmetic doctor. But you need to understand that. So when someone tells you, yeah, we can grow hair back in this area, you're like, there are no blood vessels. How? It's nothing to feed the dermal papilla. So that's not happening. God needs to come down and heal that area, and then you'll get some hair back. So we were talking about the lost my train of thought for a second. But we're gonna get into the epidermis, and feel free to ask questions if you have any questions. So, and if we can't talk about it today, we can create an episode so we can help you out and resolve things. But inflammation is one of the number one reasons why people lose hair. And then we talked about alopecia is baldness. So you need to know what type. Google it if you don't know, but always be in the knowing about your own situation. Because there's some questions you may not know what to ask. That's what this channel is all about. To help you ask the right questions so you can see the right professionals that can possibly help you out. All right? So you have, and alopecia a lot of times can be caused because of the inflammation. Make sure you understand that. Because it could be internal things happening and affecting the external, and we're treating the external just topically. Sometimes you can get some hair back from that, don't get me wrong, but we need to resolve the inner issue because some of that can come right on back. All right? And most of the time, this is what I say to, if you are having alopecia problems or eczema, psoriasis, one of the number one things, if you have time, I'm going to tell you, you need to cleanse your body. And if you've never cleansed your body, you need to start, especially if you're an issue. All right? Or it could be stress induced. Let's talk about that eczema. I mean the acne I was talking that I mentioned earlier. Someone who had acne right here, and they was on their third dermatologist, and this actually was outside of their realm. This is when that story I told you about the Bible would say, with counsel with many, their safety. If she had talked to her circle of professionals, one of them probably would have told her to cleanse her body, to flush her body out. And that's why I try to learn as many different teachings from all the professionals that we're gonna mention a little later, because a holistic health doctor would have told you that your cheeks are related to your colon. And when your colon becomes toxic and all of it can't get out because you're impacted, or you've never cleansed, but you're impacted or you're swollen, and you probably have a large gut. And it could not just be that, it could just that your body can't get rid of that toxicity. So one of the areas connected to your colon is your cheeks. So I told my client, I said, what you need to do, that's your colon. I found that out because I had a previous issue and we thought it was the colon, and a holistic doctor told my ex-wife and me that it could, your colon, if it's impacted and you're backed up, then you get dark spots. Hers wasn't that. Hers was stress induced. I guess I was driving her crazy. She would break out all around the edges of her hairline because it was stress related, large flakes. So, and when she de-stressed, her skin cleared up. Amazing. Stress can not only put you in the hospital, it can cause your body to act up in multiple ways. So that's that. So getting back to my new client that was full of acne in her face, bumps, dark spots, I told her to go get a brand of cleanser that I was using, that another hairstylist told me about, that was constantly like in the hospital. So she would flush her system about every other month because she was on a lot of medication, so she wanted to clean her body regular. In a week and a half, 2 weeks, she finally had a great move of God. And she said, I had never been on the toilet that long. We grown here. She says, I got so scared. She said, I'd never seen that before. A week later, half of her face cleared up. See, this is an example of having your circle of professionals. The dermatologist will give her all of these different topical things, and it was an internal issue. So go talk to more than just one person. Get a more whole view from different professionals and listen to them. And then get back with them and let them know what the other doctors or professionals are saying. That's why we pay our professionals, is to give us information the best that they can do. But they might have a limited view. So it's important. So we're going to mention it in a little bit, the circle of friends. And so that was just a great story of how, and one of your circle of friends is me, a professional hairstylist. And one of the reasons why is because we're doing your hair regular, or if not, at least you're coming to see us for consultations at least once a quarter or once a month, and you should be buying your effects or your products from someone that takes care of your hair. It's like you go to like going to a doctor, and you say, forget what your doctor say, I'm gonna get with this other doctor that don't know me and just use what he say. That may not make much sense. It don't make sense to me. But anyway, so your hairstylist should know your hair. They're gonna examine your hair. YouTube University can't look at your hair. A professional can. And if you can't afford it, at least just pay for a great consultation. Come in for a couple so they can see your hair at different times. And then ask them what they recommend. And if your hairstylist isn't doing it, talk to them to start retailing it. Because it's nothing like a professional knowing the products that you're using, the ins and outs. So if you're buying over the counter and I use professional only, I can't tell you about that product as much as I can the products that I use in my own house, in my own store. So you might want to reconsider how you operate. So let's look at the first professional. Hold on, let me see here. The first professional is your hairstylist. Oh, let's see if we can do this. See if we can get this on here without being too big. Okay, let's go to 14. All right, that might have been too small. I'm sorry here. Let's see if we can get this up for you. Let's go see if we can make this a little bit larger so you can read it. Give me a second here. So your hairstylist is the one that actually does your hair, or it could just be a great professional that you admire, but you need to find someone that touches your hair, okay? Not just YouTube University. please, please, please. YouTube University is good. Not saying they're not, but I want you to think twice about that, because I want you to have a great hair, everything just working out great for you. Oh, let me pick your dark color so you can show up here. All right. So number one, we have a hairstylist. Hairstylist is your first professional. Your second, hold on. Oh, no. So you have your hairstylist as your first. So let's talk about that for a second, and I'll get you your next one in a second. Your hairstylist, let me give you another story about a professional. As an educated hairstylist, I had a client come in, and I noticed her scalp skin was different. It was starting to become drier. I have been doing it for years. And then I looked at her skin. Her skin looked different. As I watched, I saw her eyes were glazed. Then I noticed that her relaxer change didn't take quite the same. So I started asking questions, and I said, hey, are you on, have you been feeling different? She's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, Are you on any medications or other things? You know, she's like what? I said, Molly, cocaine, Snow White, crack or anything. Oh, she got so mad at me. And I'm saying, I'm merely asking because I care. Something is going on. And she got so upset at me. She said, I don't do anything except weed. I know. I said, I didn't ask about weed. Are you sure you're not doing Molly or anything? And she's like, no, I don't do any of that. I wouldn't do that. And I said, well, baby, your relaxers are acting different, and something is off in your body. And she ended up leaving after I finished her hair. She was crying a little bit because she was like, I thought you knew me. And I'm like, I do know you. If I didn't say anything, then that will be an issue altogether. Because whatever's happening is causing your hair not to act right. So after she left, I thought, and another client said something to me, and then I remembered, I said, oh my God. I texted her back, and I called her back, and I said, hey, go get, I think it might be your thought. I said, go to the doctor, your general practitioner, and have them check you out, maybe your thyroids or something. Do you know, 3 days later, she called me from the hospital. Emergency surgery or something. And she remembered what I said 2 days prior. And she come back, she said, you were right. She said, I was so mad, but you saved me. Because I had an issue and I didn't know what it was. I thought you was just doing something wrong. And then I got offended because I felt you was trying to blame it on me. No, we're here for you. And I just was undone that I helped my client realize that something was going on in the inside. That's what an educated professional can do for you. It's not just we do your hair, we know your hair. A great hairstylist, if you're going for a new job as a $50,000 and up, believe it or not, everything is in your hair. Let's say you did cocaine a year ago at a party, and you're going for this job, and they ask you for a hair strand sample. They're gonna find it in your hair. Everything in you is in your hair. Your hair is the history strand. If you have the same hair on your hair that you had a year ago, and they do a strand test, they'll be able to tell you, oh, 6 to 8 inches down your hair shaft, you did cocaine. We see traces of cocaine in your strand samples. But your hairstylist can also save you. If you go ahead and pre-lighten your hair and do about 2 sessions, everything that's in your hair, it'll be gone. Now you got a job. They might call you a blonde, but you're a working blonde. So that is one of the effects of a professional, your first professional that can help you out. Your next professional is your dermatologist. Yes. This is your skin professional. Dermatology is the branch of medicine dealing with the skin, nails, hair, and their related diseases. So they are your number one person that you want to go see. But everything doesn't end with them. There's certain things that we learned from me talking in this video. There are things that the dermatologist might not see. So that's an example. This is who you go see and get your prescriptions. But if they seem to stop there, we need to go to your general practitioner and talk with them. Okay? Because you need to go talk to them so they can give you clues to your puzzle. Okay? And I say that because sometimes recognizing your ailment, your hair loss, is a puzzle that you need to figure out. Okay? And these are the people that can help you. So I guess you figured it out by now that your number 3 is your doctor, your general physician. Because you might need to know your iron levels. So you go to they check your blood, and then you're trying to figure out, hey, what are my iron levels? Low iron can cause your hair to fall out. And it causes multiple things, actually, because Low iron, not only will you can be cold, most time we relate that to being cold, but it has, let's look at one of the things that iron does for your body. Iron takes oxygen to every cell in your body. Before this video, I just got a reminder of how important iron was. I was listening to Dr. Sabi, one of his videos, great doctor. Some people call him a fluke or whatever, but don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, because he says some things that should not be overlooked. Like his thing about inflammation, mucus and inflammation. It has some validity. So pay attention to it. Hold on. Okay. Getting ready for you here. So Dr. Sabi was talking about how iron deficient our community is, how we are, that it's not in everything proportion wise in our system for us to take in our daily diets. So we have to go outside of our daily diets to get it. So you have to supplement. That's cool. So that is great. But getting back to this general practitioner, sometimes you might need to go and get your levels, like the iron and everything. So your GP is gonna be the general person you're gonna have to keep reporting to, especially if you have major losses like alopecia, major eczema. Then you go from your general practitioner to your dermatologist, because you still want to know different levels in your body, get blood work and other things done. Okay? So it's just one of the things that you need to do, especially if you have really bad issues. All right? Now, I guess you might have figured out what one of the next ones are. A holistic health doctor. Yes. We dealing with, I guess you would call it Western medicine with the American way, but there are things outside of that circle. Some things are not within us, so we need to look outside. We need to do an urology, the eyes of the window of the body. I got one done by a holistic health doctor, and I was amazed. Man, if I didn't want to take everything he said as gospel, he still sent me down the right pathway for me to get better. For me to call up the doctor and say, hey, could you check my kidneys? Could you check my iron level? Could you check this or that? Because that's just one of the things that a holistic health doctor might do. They're going to give you information, and most of the time you might have to pay for it out of your own pocket. But they're going to give you information that the other doctors missed or they didn't think about, because they're a doctor from a different angle. So that's why you have to respect it. And your professional hairstylist, your dermatologist, your general physician, your holistic health doctor, these people, they are professionals. So you need to pay attention. And all of these things can relate to hair loss. And the hairstylist takes care of your body from the outside, what it's done, but he knows how it feels. He knows how it should act. And he's also seeing you regular. You're the first person, but if you don't know, your hairstylist should be able to help you pick up on different traits. Not all things, but some that when your body changes. Because as a hairstylist, if you come to me for a relaxer and I'm doing the procedure I normally do, but every time I'm looking at your scalp, skin, your hair strand, that it could possibly have changed. And we know that the human body can change in from 1 month to another, a week, or a day. It's different things that could happen in a woman that cause her hormones to be thrown off. Something activated, and now she's different. So we have to treat every head just like we're a doctor, because we're a doctor in our own right. In our own right, most of us, some of us are heroes, hair heroes. Okay, so hold on, give you this here. So with that, hold on, I'm gonna give you a fifth one in a second. Hold on. Ah! Let me get this ready for you. I'm going to show you, but let's deal with that holistic doctor. There are things that they can enlighten you with in your health care, prevention, that you really need to focus on and pay attention, because remember when we said nothing works by itself. We have a system in our body, so we have to respect it and know that if one thing is off, it can throw something else off, and that could cause us to lose our hair. That could cause us to have inflammation, to where the body fights against itself. You know, and now you have alopecia areata, where your body is going against itself, and it says, I don't need that hair, or that hair is an infection. The body's confused, it's thrown off. So the first thing you should do is reset your system if you have time. That's what your cleanses are for. So I know they have the 3 to 7 day cleanse, the 1 day cleanse. I would say do 30 days. That's the average. Because if you've never done a cleanse, or most of the time, you didn't get this way overnight or in 7 days, so give it some time. And you might take on a 7-day Venice or a Mediterranean diet during this time, so that you get the best out of your cleanse. Now, I've cleansed before. I've never done it perfect, but I felt way better. Matter of fact, I did 3 cleanses. My first 3 cleanses, it took me 3 times to finally get about 75 to 80% correct. Oh my God, my energy level shot out the roof. Oh, by the 3rd week, I was off the chain. It's like people thought I was taking, what's the name of the thing they like, speed or something. One of those workout pills, because at the time I was working out too. But if you don't get it right, the next meal, start back. Don't worry about being perfect. Just worry about being better. That's the main key. All right? Let's look at the 5th person. This is one you probably never heard of, but I'm going to mention this because we're going over about 15 minutes so far. But I wanted to get this in, and then I'm going to give you a conclusion. All right? The fifth doctor, and we'll add a sixth in maybe later because someone told me someone. Oh, yes, I'll just mention it. But these are the five that I'm telling you, you definitely need to check out if your body, if you're losing hair or having major scalp skin disorders. Okay? A trichologist, or trichologist, tomato. These are hair loss specialists. All right? A trichologist or someone educated in the trichology field can go to court, is the expert witness on hair loss. Give you an example. If your hair breaks or you lose hair because of suffocation, and you lose hair from shedding, natural shed, the dermal papilla will be different. The hairstylist, the trichologist can tell you this is produced from a lack of oxygen. This person was smothered. All by that hair strand. Amazing. If your hair broke because of color versus a relaxer, they have two different traits. One will explode, one will shrink and explode. Different. They can tell you exactly how you lost it. Another example, the Casey Anthony story in Orlando, Florida. They did trichology studies, hair loss studies, to determine if the baby had lost her hair when the duct tape was around her mouth, and did she die while the duct tape was around her mouth versus dying after. The hair that she lost while she was still living with duct tape would have one trait, and then once she died, the hair loss would have shrinkage of the dermal papilla, and when they take it off, whether it comes out after she's dead, if they took it off after, it's still going to have a different trait. We, as hairstylists, we have TVs in the salon, so we watched it. They could tell at what time she lost that hair, living or deceased. Amazing. And they will have special treatments and techniques, but you have to stick to the script that they give you and to help you get back. They have special scopes and everything, and they're going to be outside of the norm because this is their specialty. So with today's session, we talked about the in and under the skin. Now, the under the skin portion was, example, your colon was impacted. Your body has become toxic. You have inflammation in your body, and it affects your skin, which caused your hair to fall out. So we have to counteract the inflammation. There's some inflammation that is within the dermis or the epidermis. This is where Aquascalp actually can help. Let me see if I can pull up something for you. Here, let's take this down. For example, this is not about hair loss. This is just about a regular treatment, but it is also going to address people that have hair loss. All right? So here we go. we're dealing with my son. He has dreads, and he got his hair locked. One of the treatments that we tell you to do is to use Aqua Scalp during and at the end of dreading your hair. So after you shampoo, you put it on, then you go ahead and twist it and design it and style it however you want. And then at the end, give a little second dose. We're gonna see if we can blow this picture up a little more for you to see here. So you can see he's adding it in topically at the end of the service. Here we go. In this picture, you see them using the first bottle, and he's already used it once, and he's just finishing up. So he's giving them a topical treatment, and this is going to help fight against inflammation. It's going to increase his circulation, and also give him some hydration. A lot of the hair loss is because of a lack of hydration. Remember, your epidermis is supposed to hold 20% of its weight in water. Aqua Scalp, this is the old bottle, this is the bottle he used, and this is the new COVID improved bottle. All right? So those that can hold on to your bottle, if you have this one, we're going to do some specials later on this year for people that got the very first bottle. I loved it. But we have our new COVID bottle, COVID aware bottle that we produced, and we went with this. This is the new bottle. So with this, you want to place it on when getting the service. It works best the day of a shampoo. So he got scalp treatment, because because he has dreads, it's been a while since he had shampooed, so he got a scalp treatment, and that was part one with a special shampoo. Then he went with the Aqua Scalp while the scalp was slightly damp. Massaged it in, and we'll have some videos next week because we're going to continue on this underneath the skin topic. Then at the end of his service, when he was finished, he just added a little bit more in certain sections. And around the perimeter and throughout. Another thing that this does in the video, it helps alleviate dry, itchy scalp. Feels amazing. It can relieve a dry, itchy scalp's itching in 1 to 2 minutes after placing it on and massaging it in. Whenever you massage it in, you push it into the epidermis. And Aqua Scalp is primary. It's a water-based proprietary blend, non-greasy, non-oily, with essential oils, full of vitamin E and peppermint oil. Vitamin E gives it healing, can restore terminal dermal papilla. Peppermint oil fights inflammation and also increases circulation. So if you have hair loss because of poor circulation, this is one of the things that you should use. And if you have an issue that is severe, it's not just a mild itching, you should be applying Aqua Scalp to your scalp 2 to 3 times a day. You treat it like you have a cold. My daughter is the best at it. She had hair loss, and she applied it 2 to 3 times a day. Let me see if we can pull up that image so you can see. And she used it like crazy. She kept dealing with it, and she just wanted healing. So I told her to use it because she played a part in helping with the formula because she was going to school to be an OBGYN. And so she did a lot of biology classes, and her and I used to talk all the time. We would talk about different things that were about the epidermis and what happens to the epidermis, how it's supposed to hold water weight, and the importance of that. Here, I think we have a picture of it. We'll pull it up for you. And here is her. Let me see if I can get this up here for you. Because this is so powerful. And this is 1 year. This was after a year of applying Aqua Scalp 3 times a day. Within 90 days, her alopecia had totally covered, where it was totally covered, and no more bald. She wasn't bald anymore, and she was so happy. Her husband called me. He's like, "Dad, it worked." And I tell you, to see her eyes just open up, and this wasn't even all the way grown back, and she just was on top of the world. I thought it was just amazing to hear her testimony, so I said I will constantly use it. Let me see if I can show you another one. And here's where the dates are marked. Here is where my daughter, 90-day process, where her alopecia was completely covered. The first picture you saw was 1 year later. Amazing. So this is proof. We have proof that Aqua Scalps work. You can look at the dates. March, June, the end of June, completely covered. I'm going to blow that up so you can see a little bit better that she was completely covered. And I love her for uncovering herself. And she said, "I'll do it," because I know other people would like to have their hair back. And this is amazing. I love Aqua Scalp. This is why I push even harder to produce awareness and to keep production growing. Because Aqua Scalp 2 to 3 times a day. She the one helped give the formula to how often you get it. She said the more you use it, the faster you get results. And so we changed our directions from once a day to 2 to 3 times a day. After we saw this, the results were faster. And she feels wonderful. At one time she was telling me that she was almost speechless that she lost her hair. She said, "Oh God, I hope I get it back." And so, do I believe in Aqua Scalp? Do I believe that we can make a difference? All day, every day. And this comes from all the studies, the classes that we've done. So if you have any questions or anything about your situation, about someone else's situation, you can ask for them, and we can use that on a topic. And this was kind of alopecia from external factors, and she got it back. All right, she did have some inflammation, and the hair was bald, completely bald, shiny, and just the perimeter had a little peach vellus hairs or peach fuzz. But the middle was totally shiny. We didn't know it was gonna come back. And I've had some stylists that had lace fronts for years call me 2 months later, and she didn't do as the directions until she felt her first vellus hair or peach fuzz come in. That's when she went to using it 2 to 3 times a day. And she was saying, Mr. Vaughn, this beep work. Oh, it's awesome. So I hope I help you out a little bit to know that some things, just because you lost some, that don't mean you can't get it back. We dealt with the inflammation. Aquascalp is great for skin, scalp inflammation. Now, if you have inflammation in the body and it's coming out into the skin, we can at least try to neutralize the inflammation at the skin area. That's where our battleground begins. So let's do it there while you're doing cleanses or you're trying to find out what's on the inside that can be fixed, repaired, or normalized. One thing you probably want to look at is probiotics. Drinking your water, eating for hydration, probiotics, and cleansing. Clean out your body. And I only, if you get my book, there's a formula in the back of the book. So you can get on Amazon, not Aquascalp. Go to thebreakagebook.com if you like to get some Aquascalp. Okay? I'll put that up on the top so you can see that. Let me put that up here. Oh, it's been wonderful. I was out busy and I was rushing back to get here because I am passionate about what we're doing here, trying to help people and just making a difference in everyone's life. I can't tell you, I really am honored for you that's viewing this, and I hope you share with your friends because we're just trying to do a good work, and we want to help people, and we know that people are suffering, and they need to get this. So thebreakagebook.com is where you can go to purchase your very own Aquascalp. Please support. This is a family business and also a black-owned business. Really, we're multicultural. We have everybody in our family. But that's why we formulated Aquascalp the way we did. It's a water-based proprietary blend, non-greasy, non-oily. You can use it on European, Hispanic, and black hair because it's a hydrator. It's not designed to affect how you want to do your hairstyle. That's why you can use it wet or dry, but we tell you the best way to use it is when your scalp is down. But daily, if you're trying to fix something, like if you have a cold, you don't want to apply it once a week because you're never going to get over that cold. But if you got a problem and you want to give it a chance to get over the issues that you're dealing with, use Aquascalp 2 to 3 times a day. If you have a relaxer, you might have to sacrifice for a couple of months or something and wear a wig, so you can let it breathe. Certain things, depending on the area, you could probably still keep your style, because a little bit goes a long way. You don't have to use a ton. So if you have European hair and you're using it and you say it's too heavy, you've used way too much. A little bit goes a long way. Matter of fact, let's just show you. We just put a drop of Aqua Scalp on. Let's see how much it covers. And it's in the skin. Water-based proprietary blend. The water is used to help administer it into the skin, because the skin relaxes and expands when it becomes wet. So the water is a part of the delivery system. But if the skin is already open because you just freshly shampooed, it goes deeper. And it goes right into it. Massage it in, and you can roller brush your hair or blow dry your hair and style and keep going. All right? So I hope this week helped you out. Please comment if you have any questions, or you have your friend comment. It doesn't have to be you. Mention something in the stream. I really hope I helped you. Watch this over and over again. Let us know how we can make this better. It's made for the consumer and the professional. And we'll let you know about the different classes that we'll offer a little later on. Next week, we're going to do probably another edition of Under the Skin. We did in and under. Next week, I think we're going to deal with just under the skin. There's a chapter in my book called Deeper Than the Skin. It's things that you want to hear, and I think it'll help out. We can stay under the skin a long time, because we can go from GMO, we can talk about the hydration versus moisture factor of the epidermis or the scalp skin. I love it. I love it. And I love to get your comments. Email us at thebreakagebook.com, or you can email us at Von Leon at Hair Hero Elite. Okay, again, that's Von Leon at Hair Hero Elite. I'll put it up at the end of the video. Please enjoy my nose. My sinuses in Florida are acting up. But I love you, and I thank you for spreading the word, paying attention, and keep using the Aqua Scalp, because it's changing lives. I have a couple of cancer patients that are using it, and they're already seeing a couple of more strands of hair after in the first month. I'm waiting to hear some of those stories. Thank you. It's Von Leon. I love you, and definitely enjoy your life and all the wonderful things that it's going to bring you.